What's going on, YouTube friends? Welcome to the channel. My name is Fareed, and I'm currently at Rare Bloom in Denver, Colorado. Now we're on day 2 of the event, and I'm sitting right now with Goose from the Ada Handle team. How are you doing, Goose?
I'm doing very good. Very nice to meet you.
Likewise. I've seen your avatar floating around on Twitter, and I actually stopped by the booth earlier, and so it was awesome to actually be able to put a face to that Twitter handle.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the coolest things and something that I'm super grateful for is interacting with this community for 2.5, 3 years, and finally, like you said, getting to put faces to names that I've been talking to and like collaborating with and interacting with. So super grateful to be out here.
Likewise. The scenery is beautiful. The people here are awesome. The community is growing. I think we're all excited to be here, man. And so with the introduction aside, you are with the Ada Handle team. Do you mind giving us a quick rundown of what Ada Handle is and what you guys are bringing to the Cardano ecosystem?
Totally, yeah. So I'm Goose, like you said. I'm the CEO of Core Labs. I was also one of the co-founders for Ada Handle. So Ada Handle is, at its core, a utility-based NFT that basically allows a user to have a more human-friendly experience on the blockchain, whereby instead of interacting with a cryptographic address, you're actually interacting with a username of your choosing. So I guess at a high level, if I were to draw a comparison to the Web 2 world that we all know, it'd be very similar to like Venmo or Cash App, whereas instead of interacting with someone's bank account and routing number, they actually allow you to have a username, and you interact with the username, and that's where you send payments to. And on the blockchain, it works very much the same, except the rails are cryptographic addresses, which are a string of 32 alphanumeric characters that nobody wants to interact with. So that's pretty much what Ada Handle does at a high level.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely vouch that I do not want to remember my full Cardano wallet address, and that many of us on the blockchain are very grateful for what you guys are doing at Ada Handle.
Thank you so much.
Now, with that said, how long have you guys been around the Cardano ecosystem, and how long have you guys been building the Ada Handle platform?
Yeah, so our team specifically, we all started in Cardano long before Ada Handle was an idea. I myself was doing the Crypto Drip with one of our other co-founders, Calvin, which was, this community-based crypto media publication where, we did research and tried to share as much knowledge with the community as possible. Conrad, who I'm sure everyone knows runs the Blade Pool, one of the thought leaders in the SPO space, has been around for a very long time. And we started Ada Handle, I would say like early 2021. And the funniest part about it is we started it as sort of a weekend project.
Really?
Whereas we thought we'd spend 3 weeks on this thing. We thought it was a cool idea and really just had no idea the legs it would have and the runway we have in front of us. So.
Yeah, no, it's definitely taken on a life of its own, and I'm sure you're spending more than just the weekends working on developing the Ada Handle standard.
Totally.
With that said, we're going to move along next. What are the core services that the Ada Handle platform aims to provide? I know you just mentioned the simplification of wallet addresses, but I believe you guys are also working on subhandles, customization. Can you speak a little bit about that as well?
Totally. So I think Ada Handles, at its core, we did a really good job at establishing a naming convention that was super easy for people to understand. And when you have a product that's super easy to understand, it spreads rather quickly, and it's something that we're able to leverage as we take this next step for our company and our product. The goal is to always extend the use case of handles. And as we continue to do that, we find ourselves stepping into a realm that is very massive, and that's the identity space. As dApps and applications on Cardano start to evolve, they're going to need data on their users, whether it be for compliance, whether it be for providing a better experience for their applications. And Handles has a very unique position of being already integrated as a naming convention on these platforms to really take advantage of being that provider of that data. And so it finds us in a very peculiar position where we kind of need to embrace this new movement called SSI, or self-sovereign identity. and see where NFTs and DIDs, which are very new technologies, have this overlap. And it's been a very interesting journey, but we're talking to a lot of people in both spaces, and there's a lot of potential between the overlap between the two. So
I am super excited for what you talked about when it comes to security in the DIDs. I know there was a recent article, I believe, released by NMKR, and I believe we chatted a little bit about how you guys could potentially be working with them in the future when it comes to DIDs and identity verification. Do you mind kind of elaborating on that a little bit as well?
Totally. So when it comes to standards, again, I think there's a position for handles to leverage where we've spread to these applications, these light wallets, to pull in these standards that have to do with identity as closely as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That way we're making sure the ecosystem is building one identity standard. The last thing we want is this diaspora of identity standards that confuse and provide less security for users. And so NMaker and IMX and these other companies that are really pushing the boundaries on exactly what I was talking about, the connection between DIDs and NFTs. Those are lucrative partnerships that we look to explore more, and we'll be collaborating on a lot more things here in the short term.
Now, there's also something else that I just learned about today, which I thought was something that you guys had actually made up or you guys had developed, and that was Handle Tools. And so right after the Vassal hard fork, I actually noticed that there was a new Twitter account that popped up and that had posted basically about this thing called Handle Tools, right? And so I went to the website, I checked it out, and it was a super clean website that basically gave us more information about ADA handles, the trading volume of certain handles, and then they even classified some of those different handle categories, right? So you had like countries, you had, 3-digit, 4-digit, and so on. Do you mind just kind of talking about, how the being of Handle Tools came about, and then what your potential future plans are with the team developing Handle Tools?
Totally. The funny thing is, and probably often confused, is Handle Tools is one of those grassroots driven projects where we actually have no official connection with. And I think in the last 6 months we're super surprised and super thankful to see these grassroots communities start to blossom in the community. I think everybody knows the 10K Handle Club and the Digit guys and like he said, all these categories which are real communities of people just coming up out of nowhere, and Handle Tools is one of those, and Handle Tools did a really great job at indexing all of these different categories and providing a seamless UI to navigate those different communities. And so we actually reached out to that developer because we really liked what he did so much, and that's one of the things that we're going to be building on our handle.me website as we start to get a little more into the personalization features. So we're just going to bring him on and bring on the handle.tools website as well. So
that's impressive to hear, and that's what I love about Cardano, right? Everybody can contribute. And in this case, we have a community member who obviously felt very passionate about what you guys were already doing with the Handle standard, and they wanted to contribute. And it looks like there may potentially be an opportunity for them to become an official partner with you guys. So again, that just really goes to shine light on the opportunity and the community here within Cardano. And so next, I kind of want to talk about the future for ADA handles. As I mentioned before, I know you guys have kind of teased out customization and then also subhandles, but what's in the future roadmap for the ADA handle team?
Yeah, good question. I think it's as of right now, I explained earlier, we've established a very strong foundation, and when you establish a strong foundation, you have a lot of different avenues to build layers on top of that, and those layers could be drastically different from one another. For example, we could enter the education space in a way. For example, we could enter the financial industry in a very specific way. And so it really comes down to placing those layers as foundationally as possible. That way we're as composable as possible top down. So I can't necessarily give like a specific avenue other than the three things that we're really hunkering down and focusing on, which is one, the overarching idea of identity, and then two, our two features that we actually got funded for in Catalyst was subhandles and personalization, and those actually have two tight connections with our entrance into the identity space. So.
Awesome, awesome. Now, I do have another question, which is a little bit off the cuff here. I know you guys are Cardano native token, and you guys are dealing specifically with Cardano. Have you guys thought about interoperability, any cross-chain kind of things there?
Yeah, totally. Cardano has this very unique way to represent assets across the crypto industry for layer ones. So yeah, as you said, handles are NFTs, which are represented as native assets, and so that allows us some different composable methods to potentially attack the interoperability cross-chain avenue. We have some potential places that we would love to see handles. I think from the very beginning we had a super close connection with the Ergo blockchain, and we would love to see handles there. Another super cool avenue is, I just talked to Sebastian yesterday from DC Spark, and they've built their flagship product, Milkomeda, and talking with him about, how could we get handles or NFTs in general onto the Milkomeda blockchain from Cardano. And so I think the cross-chain interoperable avenue is a cake that can be cut in many different ways, and you can accomplish cross-chain in those different ways, but each way sacrifices a certain element, and I think we're still trying to figure out which way we want to go about that. At some point, this is I'm sure everyone wants to hear this. At some point, we are going to go the domain route. It's just not at our core what we find most important. I think we really want to tackle self-sovereign identity and where handles fit into that. But at some point, we will be entering the domain space as well.
Gotcha. Did you just drop some alpha here for us?
That might have been a little bit of alpha.
I appreciate that very much, Goose. It's been awesome having you here. So we're going to end on a light note. What's been your take on Rare Bloom and the event?
I love Rare Bloom. I visited CNFTCon for a day, and then visited here. I unfortunately never got to go to any Cardano summits. As you know, and as you guys all know, I've been pseudonymous for years now, and so have had a little bit of anxiety to coming to live events like these. But I think these community-driven conventions are incredible. Like for their first year, I think both conventions knocked it out of the park, and I'm super excited to see like the iterations throughout the years and what not only the production value of each convention is going to look like, but like the turnout and like the community thought process around Cardano coming to these conventions is going to be like. So it's going to be super interesting.
I couldn't agree with you more, man. And so with that said, Goose, I want to thank you, as well as Conrad, because he is down there manning the booth right now.
Totally.
While we're doing this interview. I want to thank you both for the handle standard, all of the work that you guys have put into developing this project, and I wish you guys the best of luck. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate being here.